Hi, I'm Sam Sells, and welcome to my podcast, Clean Money. I like to say investing matters, and my show is to talk with everyday folks that are not only creating great success, but making an impact in society and improving the lives of others. That is my mission, and I want to share my stories and others with you. Welcome to Clean Money. Thank you for joining with us today for another great episode of Clean Money, where we talk about making a difference in the world through our investments of time and resources. Today, I want to talk a little bit about our impact program at Wild Mountain Capital, how we get it designed, how we set it up, how we employ this impact program. It's not enough for us to say we have impact. We need to quantify, we need to qualify that impact, and it needs to have a consistent and solid plan. So after years of doing this, if you recall, I spent a little over a decade in global health. I got my master's degree in health policy and working with foreign governments, foreign militaries to help them create impactful, sustainable healthcare policies and systems. Sometimes that included us designing or helping to design, build, ground up healthcare facilities. Usually these look like, we may call them a clinic overseas, but in the States, it'd be like a doc in a box or something is a name that we often refer to them as. So each of these things needs to be built. Each of these programs needs to be built in a sustainable way. So how do we do that? And how do we define impact? So let me walk through just a little bit of how we do that here at Wild Mountain Capital. Okay. So we are committed to improving the community and our investors' lives with an impact program that will help create a more resilient asset and maximize the property's performance. When I think about an asset, an apartment complex, a mobile home community, and even storage complex, I think about the lives, human lives, the materials, and everything else that are involved in this project. Now, this includes the resident. This includes their families, their extended family who may visit them. This also includes the property itself, the workers on that property, from the maintenance folks to the leasing staff, the managers, and the asset managers, my team, as the operators, the owners, and all the other owners, investors, and their families, and so forth. Now, we know that in real estate, things don't always work as planned, and life, things don't always work in plan. But with the correct mindset and the correct structure to the program, so the program structure, we know we can have high impact and get great results. Even if things go awry, we can get them back on track because sometimes things just simply go awry. And I've learned that over, more than a decade in, traveling the world and doing these things, because everyone has their own personalities. Humans are still humans and unpredictable. And so you would think this is the obvious logical answer. Everyone would do this. And then the person you're trying to help do that says no. And if you've ever had kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So without further ado, let's get into our impact program. So one of the first things that we focus on is safety of our residents, safety of our staff. And we increase safety and lower crime first by fostering relationships with one of our favorite things to do is to foster relationship with the local neighborhood police unit. So if you think about the police departments, they're really broken down into different types of police. You have state police, you have county police, you have city police. Each one of those have certain areas where they patrol. If they're the highway patrol, very basic versus neighborhood. And we found that each one of these neighborhood police units, they need a place typically, or they're open to having a place, that a remote site office. And we've had a lot of success working with neighborhood police units to come in and utilize one of our apartments as a, remote office where police officers, rather than, they get off their shift at 7 o'clock at night, rather than driving all the way into the precinct office or the main office, they can just drive into our apartment community, walk into one of the units, and use that unit to hop on the internet, type up the reports. It's quiet. They're by themselves. We have a TV in there connected to cable. So if they want to spend an hour decompressing, watching a show, or doing something else, they can before they go home. Maybe they had a very stressful day, and rather than going straight home and allowing that stress to bubble over, they can decompress there. It's great for police officers. Police officers have been big fans of this, the ones who use it. And this means at the property level, we have police officers coming and going during the day, at night, at random. There's no specific schedule to it. They come and they go as they please, as they need. And this gives the property a friendly police presence. So rather than police officers coming and busting people down, knocking doors down, SWAT teams showing up and so forth, we have a police presence in the community. This is brilliant. Here's how it works financially. We give up one unit so that we lose $800 a month, perhaps, at the property, maybe $1,200 a unit, because again, we work in affordable units. If you hire a security service company, at the minimum, they're generally going to charge about $3,000 to $4,000 a month to come patrol your unit. We like to call these guys Paul Blart Mall Cop. If you've ever seen that movie or series of movies, Paul Blart Mall Cop, we have not really been big fans of that service. It does work. It's been proven to work to have somebody patrol, particularly at night. But rather than spend $4,000, we've seen people spend $8,000 or $9,000 a month to have somebody patrol. It costs us $800 a month. What we just added, $30,000 a year to the bottom line, the operating income, because we reduced expenses at the property. We have a friendly police presence, and we dedicate a unit. This ensures property supports safety. We ensure that we are supporting the property with safety, providing our residents with additional layer of safety. And we have real cops who, if they are there and see something happening, or if they're not there, but they respond, they already know the property. They've probably met many of our residents. They probably have a good rapport with many of our residents as they come and go and say hi. And they're able to respond and be less likely or more likely to reduce a heated altercation because they already know, they may know the people that they respond to speak with, to take care of. So this has been just really impactful. In mobile home communities, we've done something similar. Ideally, we've been able to rent brand new units out for, say, half price to a police officer who now, instead of spending $1,100 a month, is spending $550 a month. Yes, we lose $500 a month, but we have consistent police present at the property, and they're not going to mess around and take garbage if they see stuff going on. They'll take care of it, and they have the authority to take care of it. They're not going to have to call somebody else in to take care of it unless that thing is big. This has been huge. If you're not doing this in any of your communities, you should. And if you want more details on how this works, feel free to reach out. But this is one of the greatest things that we've done just to reduce crime at properties. You introduce a police presence, crime goes away way faster than it does for security cameras, exterior lights, and gates, and so forth. Now, we still make sure that lighting all of the property at night is lit up. Dark areas invite darkness. And so we want to clear those areas up. We want this property to be clean and safe so that anyone there can come and go as they please without being risked or exposing themselves to risk of being accosted or hurt or anything else. This goes for kids, single women, men, whomever. We sometimes do gates. We do not always do gates. We found that gates are a problem to keep maintained. They're expensive. They break all the time. and they're just a consistent maintenance item. Sometimes they work great. Other times, you know, first thing you do if you drive into property and you see police cars parked, not arrested, not running their lights, you already know that police are present, and it just lets you know that either you can worry just a little bit less. We love making sure that those units are in the beginning of the property or when you first drive in, and so the police officers or police cars are seen. One of the other things that we've done is, and this is going to lead into my next part. So we say safety is one of the first things we do at the property. Education is the next. Educating our residents about leases, about their rights, educating our residents on other things like after school programs. So we partner with local schools and nonprofit organizations to promote after school programs to engage and empower kids all the time. These after school programs engage and empower kids. They raise school attendance and academic performance. Did you know that a lot of schools are rated based on what their attendance is and the amount of students who start school and then end school? So as attendance goes down or kids move away, which is very common in poor areas, the ratings of the schools go down. So you can have the best teachers on the planet at this school, but because of the transient nature of the students, the school's going to have a poor rating. But you didn't know that. I didn't know that. And so we've learned that by working with these different nonprofits and keeping some educational programs after school programs like Boys and Girls Club, doing various things. And guess what? We've already dedicated a unit to the police department. We can dedicate that exact same unit to after school programs. Police officers can come, hang out with the kids, and then go in one of the rooms and sit down and fill out their reports, come back out, say hi to the kids, depart. It's a nice friendly way for them to get to know the residents and the kids to see police officers in a peaceful environment rather than as aggressors. And that's key to helping preserve the peace there. What also happens monetarily is as residents have kids who are in these programs, they're less likely to move to another apartment complex, which most likely does not have the same after-school programs. These after-school programs cost us $0. We've already dedicated one unit to police department or into after school programs, so that unit is offline anyways. When you have 180 units, you designate, or 250 units, you designate one unit, and that program will pay for itself in spades. Case in point, we used to have this kid when we bought this property. One of his favorite things to do in the evenings when his parents were working was just walk around, pick up rocks, and throw them through windows. And so you can come down pretty hard on those kids. Parents are busy and so forth. And when the after-school program got up and going, he started doing the after-school program, and he stopped walking around throwing rocks through the windows. We could have evicted him. We threatened to evict him if he didn't shape up. And then we found him a place to spend his time rather than being bored and mad that his parents were working to preserve their lives. So after-school programs are fantastic. It empowers kids, raise school attendance and academic performance. It costs us $0 other than the unit that's already been allocated. It just takes a little bit of time in the beginning to get it set up and running. We allow them to have events in the center of the property, educational events. This increases, you're thinking, well, we're offering, workout room and a pool. Why not offer after school programs? They're free to you. And schools and Boys and Girls Club are super happy to do this. All right. Fantastic. Well, this has been a huge boon. And monetarily, again, your turnover rates for your residents will drop. Your evictions will drop. Residents, instead of having to cancel work and be home with the kids, if there's an after-school program, they can continue to work. or and they are less likely to, you know, just stop paying rent because they don't give a crap. They can keep paying rent. They'll more likely want to do a workout plan or something else so that they don't lose the benefit of having their kids in a program that's helping them. Next, housing and recreation. So we talked about safety, we talked about education. Let's talk about housing and recreation, also part of our impact program. So we work with affordable housing agencies to help secure housing and avoid evictions for those in need. This has been one of the biggest financial boons to us, meaning financially working with housing departments, local charities, religious charities. There's not very many non-religious charities out there. So if you hate God, I'm sorry, but most charities are religious. They provide more benefit to our residents than even the housing programs do, although the housing programs work pretty well in most cities. Memphis, good luck. That housing authority has been the worst to work with we've ever met. If you're from the Memphis Housing Authority, please reach out. I would love to talk with you because your office has been extremely difficult to work with. Texas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, fantastic. Las Vegas, Nevada, fantastic. Great offices, great commissioners who really want to make a difference and employ public funds that have been designated to help folks get back on their feet. And so here we are. We work with them. They pay tenants rent. They don't always pay on the first like they advertise. Most of the time they do. Sometimes they don't pay, and it takes 2 or 3 months to get payments from them. But they've helped out a lot of our residents. Jesse shared a story recently where a woman got laid off. She came down with terminal cancer. She was given 2 months to live. She couldn't do her work anymore, so she was laid off. And for 2 or 3 months, we knew she could not pay her rent. So what do? Do you evict them? Would you evict her because you can't pay her rent, or she can't pay her rent? She can't live. She's about to die. Now she's going to be homeless for the last 2 or 3 months because you need to take care of your bottom line. Why wrestle with that decision at all? What we did was the first thing Jesse did was hop on the phone. He knows these charities, and he was able to find one like Women in Crisis or Rainwater or one of these others. And they covered her rent and all of her living expenses for the last 2 months of her life. Did they know about her? No, but Jesse knew about her. We knew about her. So we took care of her. Does that hurt us as a company to help other people? No. In fact, helping other people aligns with our mission. It aligns with who we are. For investors, that's an extra 2 or 3 months worth of rents that came in that could have been lost. Evictions would have cost a few $100s, taken a couple of months, despite, on top of being a terrible human for kicking out a single woman with only 2 months left of her life and causing dramatic stress on her and everyone else involved and feeling terrible inside because you only care about money. We're able to take care of her. We're able to take care of investors, the property, and do what is right. All those things can align, and that's the whole point of our impact program, is to align all those things together. If she couldn't have paid rent, it's a good chance Jesse or myself would have paid her rent for her for the last couple of months, because it's so important for her to reduce that stress of having to think I'm stealing from the apartment owners because I'm not paying my rent. I lost my job and all this other despair. No, let her think about spending time with her family, her loved ones, her friends before she passes away. These activities, working with housing, and then of course recreation, making sure the pool works, making sure there's outdoor spaces for people to congregate, to eat, to laugh, to have fun, to play. We recently bought an apartment complex that had no outdoor space for playing of 61 buildings all crammed together. And in the middle of this whole thing was this big parking lot that would never have more than a single car or two cars. So having to work with the city to allow us to convert this parking space that nobody is using into green space where a park can sit, where there can be kids can kick a ball and do other things, or adults can throw a ball. I like throwing a football back and forth or a baseball. Awesome. You can't do that if you're sitting in a parking lot. So we push, work with the city. Sometimes cities are rabid about the parking spaces, and you just have to keep working with them or develop other parking spaces, even though nobody uses it, and make that space a green space. It's important for our residents. As you do that, you improve their lives. And if you are improving their lives, if you're creating value for your residents, they're going to create value for you by staying, by recommending their friends, by willing to pay a little bit more to stay at your property. All right. Promoting positive uses of leisure time in communal areas by updating amenities, pool, picnic areas, playgrounds. We've often added playgrounds where there have been none. And it's worked to great effect. Right. So we talked about safety, education, housing, recreation. Let's talk about career. This one has been a little bit tough for us to monetize, but we've been able to do it for free, is to provide workforce development resources to grow employment skills, things from like helping people get their GED, English as a second language courses for non-English speakers. We promote self-sufficiency by helping residents gain access to the technology and the resources to obtain jobs. We do this through working with our leasing staff and provide free resources as much as we can to help people know what to do to improve their lives. Simple things, if they get better jobs and move out, great. We'll add somebody else in. We've never had a problem leasing units. We'll fill in that unit again and continue to educate and grow. If we are not improving the lives of those around us, then why are we here? What are we doing? We can do more, and it doesn't hurt us to help other people. And that's the whole point of the Impact Program. So we talked about career, health, and wellness. We utilize local resources to support emotional and physical health of residents and promote a healthier lifestyle and diet, fitness, and access to proper insurance and medical care. No, we do not insure our residents. We do not give them medical care, but we provide them with very inexpensive ways to access insurance for their unit, like $15 a month through Appfolio or through one of the other major entities. They can insure their unit for $15 a month. We make $2 a month or $3 a month inside of that $15 a month. So it's good. It helps our net operating income. Our insurance does not cover their materials anyways. And so now if they cause a fire or something else, they have insurance to help cover that, and improves our net operating income. It reduces the cost of bad outcomes, and it's overall a great thing. We have added workout rooms into apartment complexes where there were none. In fact, one recently, the leasing staff had 3 big rooms. We took one of those rooms away from the leasing staff. Sorry, folks. Put them in the main room together where they could access and speak with residents right off the bat, and turn that entire space that was a big leasing office into a workout space with multiple machines and a nice machine with weights. And guess what? People use that thing all the time. It's awesome. We also support food needs with local food pantry organizations. If we ever hear about a resident struggling with food, because we engender those relationships, we're able to reach out and say, hey, can you help Sally or Joe or whomever with food? They're struggling. This is what we should do. It's what we can do. It takes very little effort, and it creates and fosters a community that really, really cares. And finally, environmental. Identify and implement environmental friendly solutions such as lowering energy misuse. We install automatic thermostats. Sometimes we do ones that monitor excessive HVAC usage. Folks sometimes will open all their windows because it's cold inside and they want to warm up their unit, and their unit's set to 62 degrees. Yeah. So there's air conditioning the outside. Why would they do that if they're paying their own bills? Well, if they're on Section 8 vouchers, or they're having an NGO, nonprofit, or somebody take care of their rents, what happens is that they're not covering their utilities, and we're covering their utilities, or someone else is covering their utilities. So we want to restrict that usage. We even found an apartment complex one time that we're looking at that had 154 units and it had zero insulation in the attic. You want to talk about massive electric bills. That place had massive electric bills. Dumb. Who builds without putting in insulation? I guess the builders, previous owners, just figure they would just push it off on the tenants, and who cares? That is certainly a attitude you can take. It's not one that we take. So I hope you like us, or I hope you liked me talking about the impact program that we have. And again, we go through safety, education, housing, recreation, careers, health and wellness, and environmental. We'll talk another time about really diving deeper into environmental things that we do, in particular for ESG. I know a lot of people think of ESG as a bad term. I will tell you how we use it to add $5 million or $10 million of value to the property. And all of a sudden your ears going to perk up and say, did you say you add $5 million to the property by just employing some simple ESG aspects? And you know what? ESG is not such a bad word anymore, right? And so that's how we use it. We're not forced to use it. I haven't met very many other operators who do what we do. And for that reason, our properties can outperform those other properties. So if you like what we've talked about today about our impact program, and if you're curious of how do you develop an impact program for your properties, or if you would like to employ this impact program, please reach out, like, subscribe, send me a message, and I'm happy to share this with you. And even we can go through what it would look like for us to work with you to help create even a stronger impact at your property and what that means for your bottom line. You can find this podcast and all of our other podcasts on all the major networks. And please, today, go out and make a difference in the world. So thank you again for joining this call. I really enjoy speaking with you guys today, and until next time. Thank you for tuning in to Clean Money, where we talk about sustainable investing that improves society. We are passionate about creating great investment returns to investors who want to use their money to make a positive social impact in the world. If you enjoyed the episode, we'd appreciate a 5-star review. And if you are interested in making your investing matter, please connect with us at wildmountaincapital.com. Or you can find me, Samuel Sells, on LinkedIn, on Twitter at Sells_Samuel, on Instagram at CleanMoneySam, or on Facebook. And finally, make your investing matter.